We then made our way back down into the village where we had a very funny encounter with the same teenage girls. Basically, they start already carrying heavy things on their back at a very young age. At the age of 14 and 15, they are carrying crazy heavy baskets up and down the mountains without any problem. I tried to even pick up the basket. I couldn't even pick it up. By far could I not put it on my back. And for them, it was like easy peasy. So these girls are carrying these baskets up down that hill. He's a 21-year-old guy. He cannot manage. Oh my god, is it heavy?
I told you that it's heavy.
They pretty much don't need anything from the outside. They have their entire own system in all kinds of ways in that village, but also their own legal system. So they have one chief who pretty much decides everything, and that's their own police. But I also learned that the people don't really do anything very bad there, especially because everyone kind of knows everyone in the village. Something that could happen would be like someone killing the goat of the other person by accident and them not being able to resolve that within themselves, so then they would go to the chief.
So we are at the, you can say it's basket manufacturing place. So you can see this is for the kids, to make them, to start their life knowing how to handle these things. So and this is for adult women, and these are used to board the lighter things, the grass, leaves.
They also have these crazy underground tunnels beneath their houses, which are there for them to function more easily in the winters. It gets extremely cold in the winters. Their version of fridges are these wooden boxes which have cold water running beneath them so that they can keep their supplies cold. They also have a public grinder which everyone can use to mash their food, such as mash their potatoes. I also thought it was cool to see how they share so much because they have such a community. Like they just have like a public grinder which everyone can use instead of everyone having their own. After I was already blown away at that point by getting such a close look into these people's lives, Inaya then took us into his home, like into his living room.
So we're now in one of his cousin's house in the resting room. You can see the view from this room is absolutely insane. That's just, wait, let me change the camera. So this is the view through the windows. You can see it's literally at the mountains.
Coincidentally, there was a festival or a celebration happening at that point, which happens when a family has a newborn. They will then invite family and friends, and they will all gather together, and the family that had the newborn will provide food or lunch or dinner for everyone.
I've now had to put on a headscarf, and we're gonna go to one of, it's like a festival or a, what is it?
You will join me.
Like a festival, because one of his relatives got a baby, and so we're gonna see the traditions they have for that. So
I obviously didn't film anything here because this was a very private situation. The celebration was separated between men and women, and I obviously went with the women, and there were these huge plates of rice where everyone gathered around and they would all eat out of one plate of rice. I was then taken back into the living room where many of the elder and the younger women decided to come and meet me and talk to me. In the beginning, one of the guys who spent the day with me, he came with me and he helped me translate and talk with them, and then at some point he just like left for 20 minutes and I didn't know why. So I was sitting there surrounded by all these women. We were just kind of like staring at each other and like trying to say stuff with our hands and our words, but then the guy came back and he helped me like translate. The interesting part was that many of the girls were my age, but they were already married and had children, which is a very common thing there. One of the 19-year-old girls with her child was actually still in school, but she was in 5th grade, and then her sister, who was 13 I think, was in a way higher grade than her because her parents or her family didn't let her go to school at a younger age. Debatable whether that's a good thing or not, I know, but that is a whole nother story. I was sitting with them and they told me like, oh my god, like I look so much like them and I should stay there and I could be one of them, and they gave me food to eat and like dried fruit. I stayed in the room I think for like an hour just talking to the women, and then I went up to a roof. I think it was the rooftop of one of his uncles. And he made us again the like really nice green tea, and they made us these like traditional pancakes and stuff, and we just watched the sunset because again here we were able to see the entire village and the mountains from that rooftop. Also, it was interesting, Inaya said obviously they have no lights in the village, so when it gets dark and you're on the rooftop you just don't see anything. Like he said in the night it's just pitch black. Obviously the stars must be insane there. I would have loved to see that. think the cutest part, which you didn't see on camera, were the children who were just like constantly running behind us when we were walking through the village, and every time we would turn around they would like all scream and run away and like hide behind trees and houses. All in all, I was the most impressed by the happiness and contentment of these people. Most of them don't know a life out of the village. If they have been anywhere out of the village, it's probably the closest city, or rather a town I should call it, because also that is tiny. All of them don't have cellular or internet or a phone or social media, but they are just happy with who they are and what they have because they don't know anything out of that. Getting so close to people who live so different and so separate from our way of life made me realize how they are not affected by all the things we are starting to perceive as normal from our society. Spend less time just scrolling through your phone because you don't have anything else to do. Go outside more, feel nature more, and also start cherishing the people around you more. This experience really inspired me a lot, so I hope I can inspire other people with it as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. There are more videos about the north of Pakistan coming soon, and yeah, thank you for watching.